Hello, everyone. Coming up here on the Pro Wrestling Show, present the SmackDown Ring Report. As you see right here, we're continuing on with the rivalry between Rated RK Bro, the Raw Tag Team Champions, and the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Usos. As they continue their rivalry as Riddle takes on Jay Uso one on one. Could Riddle continue his momentum as he did last week? Riddle on a momentum ride. Could they be the next undisputed tag team champions heading to WrestleMania Backlash? We'll find out. Also, too, Drew McIntyre has some unfinished business with Sami Zayn. Or Drew McIntyre won't get his hands on Sami Zayn, but this time it's in a lumberjack match. Will Drew be emerged victorious? We'll see about that. Well, SmackDown kicks off with this with a bang. Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair. These two women will meet at WrestleMania Backlash and an I Quit match. Yes, they say 5 letters, 2 words. I quit. Which one woman will emerge WrestleMania Backlash as SmackDown Women's Champion by giving her opponent the other words that no one wants to say? I quit. We'll have all this and more on the Smack. We'll have recaps of the SmackDown Ring Report coming up as the Pro Wrestling Show starts right now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of the SmackDown Ring Report on the Pro Wrestling Show here on Connect TV on YouTube. I'm your host, as always, Kenny Dix here. Glad you can join us here on the Pro Wrestling Show. Like I said, hit join by the conversation. Join the conversation by using the hashtag Pro Wrestling here on Connect. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe, Miss Karen. Tell a friend, call a friend, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss a thing here on the Pro Wrestling Show. All right, we got a lot to get to, but like I said, we're going to kick things off with Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair opening the show with their contract signing. We know Ronda Rousey has been on the show lately, but Ronda Rousey was on the show tonight. She made a point that she wants Charlotte Flair, and Charlotte Flair trying to make a point that she wants to make Ronda quit. But Ronda Rousey come out there with fanfare and celebratory, as Ronda Rousey does. But Drew Gulak from last week was a victim of Charlotte's figure eight, and Charlotte made him tap out saying those 2 other words, 5 letters, I quit. Well, Ronda Rousey did the same as Gulak is sort of like Adam Pearce's assistant. Gulak tried to mediate between the two. Ronda wasn't having it. Ronda applied the armbar on Gulak. Ronda signed the armbar while putting Gulak into submission. So it was official. At WrestleMania Backlash, Ronda Rousey will meet Charlotte Flair one-on-one in the SmackDown Women's title in an I Quit match. Whoever said the opponent of the words I quit wins the match, loses the match. And Charlotte Flair wants to be the one to make Ronda say I quit. We'll see. But we'll see going forward. Plus, two, New Day was in action. New Day taking on Butch. Well, Xavier Woods took on Butch. And Butch was just in a livid. Butch just went crazy. Butch just not there. Xavier Woods getting the win over Butch. Butch losing it. I don't know what's going on, but we'll find out. Plus two, Gunter was in action. Gunter, impressive. Gunter losing a lot of weight, but was impressive against a jobber. So they're building Gunter as a top player on SmackDown eventually down the road, and see how Gunter do. But who his first feud would be going forward. He could feud with Jinder Mahal. No, not Jinder. Drew McIntyre, or better yet, anybody that's a babyface on SmackDown. He could be going for the Intercontinental title if you ask me. Speaking of the Intercontinental Championship, Ricochet overcoming the odds, going against the Los Lotharios, Jinder Mahal. Now, he's found the biggest test to challenge. Next week on SmackDown, he will defend his Intercontinental Championship against Shanky. Because Shanky be the one to overthrow Ricochet and become the new Intercontinental Champion. One time we'll tell on that. It's just proving to the fact that just Drew, like I said, Jenna could have won the championship last week, but this is Shanky's turn. We'll see what Shanky does in the coming near next week on SmackDown. And could we be looking at the next Intercontinental Champion in Shanky? And you ask me, I don't know. Also, too, Madcap Moss was in action. Madcap Moss getting a victory over Los Lotharios. Madcap Moss getting winning, but he got attacked by a jealous and a rage Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin took Madcap Moss's award, and Baron Corbin took it upon himself to steal the award. This rivalry continues to set through on what's going to happen. They might battle for the Andre award. I know Baron Corbin won it before, but there's a possibility going forward with that. Plus, two, next week, we get to see the in-ring debut of Raquel Rodriguez. Raquel Rodriguez, she made an appearance on Busted Open Radio on the podcast, and they was asking her why she smiled. She said she just like to smile to show she's dominant. Well, she gets her chance next week to show her impressive skills that she's been doing in NXT as a former NXT Women's Champion and Tag Champion. Plus, two, Randy Orton will celebrate 20 years in WWE. Randy Orton gets a 20-year celebration in WWE, fitting for a man of Orton status. Orton gets that status next week and stuff. Well, speaking of Orton buried the hatchet with Drew McIntyre, and now they are going to team up together. Well, they're going to be supporting Drew in the lumberjack match and Drew's quest to get his hands on Sami Zayn later on the show. Speaking of two, Sami Zayn made a play to get the services of the Usos due to the fact that trying to say he acknowledges Roman Reigns. So we saw that. Plus, two, Xia Li. Xia Li saying that she wants to make somebody tap out. She might make somebody tap out eventually down the road. How she is, we'll see that from her. Also, too, the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, the Boss, Sasha Banks, and Naomi, they came out there and got confronted by none other than Natalya and Shayna Baszler. Natalya and Shayna Baszler looking to be the next challengers for the Women's Tag Team Champions, trying to weed out the Tag Team Champions, and we'll see if Natalya and Shayna Baszler can put their submission expertise up against the Tag Team Champions, who have almost lost their belts to Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan, who lost their chance, but the team had exploded before it happened. Speaking of that, Ray RK Bro, the Raw Tag Team Champions, as Riddle went against Jey Uso Riddle in a match of the night. It was move after move, but Riddle got the job done. Riddle could be heading momentum at WrestleMania Backlash, winning the Undisputed Tag Team Championship, unifying the Tag Team Championship, thus making the Undisputed Tag Team titles. And finally, Drew McIntyre went against Sami Zayn in a lumberjack match. We thought that Drew was going to win, but Sami escaped again. Sami's been leaving the match. Well, Adam Pearce made it official. Adam Pearce said, hey, you're not going to be leaving out what you did last week and tonight. You're going to do it inside of a steel cage. So it's going to happen next week inside of a 15-foot solid steel cage. Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn battled out in a steel cage. No escape for Sami Zayn this time. We'll see if Sami Zayn could win inside of a steel cage. I just don't think he can, but the possibilities are endless. But no, Sami Zayn escaped once again. So that's going to do it for the SmackDown Ring Report. As you see, the Usos and Ray RK Bro continue their rivalry going forward. Also, too, on hot topics, quickly, we're going to do hot topics right quick. We know that AEW and New Japan will team together for a super show called Forbidden Door, and that was the huge announcement, the Forbidden Door. But we know that Penta Kenta wants to take on CM Punk, AEW versus in New Japan. It could be a possibility. That match could happen. But we'll see if Tony Khan and the New Japan president put their minds together and see if they want to work together on that situation. Plus, too, as you see right here, unfortunately for Sean Rock Staff said Darius Martin from Top Flight has been out. He will be injured again. Saying the details is quite the miss again. So get well soon, Darius. Top Flight was that Top Flight team. And then too, we heard about Bret the Hitman Hart. He might quietly sign with WWE. It was speculated he was going to join AEW, but that hasn't been the case so far. So thus, going forward. Okay, so we're going to end that note for the Pro Wrestling Show. We did a quick Pro Wrestling Show recap, highlights, and review for the SmackDown brand. We're going to leave you with Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn. We could see this next week inside of a solid steel cage. This is the match everybody wants to see. We'll see it next week. So for me being Kendrick Dick saying so long, we'll see you next time for another edition of the Pro Wrestling Show presents the SmackDown Ring Report. See you later and have a good weekend.